A couple of things. Number one, I think I am proud to serve on this committee, and I think all of us are, because we represent American agriculture, and we know the farmers in our district probably work harder than anybody else that we see on a day-to-day basis, and most of them do it for less. It's a way of life, not just a way of making a living. Second, I'm very proud to serve on this committee. In this rancorous Congress, this is the most bipartisan committee that we have, and we've got an outstanding chairman and we've got an outstanding ranking member. They've worked hard to put together this program. I trust them. The third thing I want to say is about Vermont farmers, but I know this applies to your farmers. The origin of this program is from farmers up. It's not something that was cooked up by the chairman and the ranking member. Our farmers in Vermont, and this is true for farmers in California, where Mr. Costa was going out talking to them, and it's farmers in your area, they were getting hammered. They have no control over what happens to the price of milk. And they've been dealing with these extraordinary spikes in dips, and the dips are getting deeper, and the valleys between the rise and the fall have been getting wider, and they're eating into equity. But what that means in plain and simple English is that their kids are not going to be able to take over their farm and carry on what has been a family tradition. I know we all care about that, and we have a tough call policy-wise about what do we do, because that's a shared goal to keep those folks in business. But the folks that we care about, they're the ones who came up with this plan. They said, hey, if we respond to every collapse in price by doing the only thing on our farm that we can do, whether we've got 75 milkers or we've got 10,000 milkers, and that's to increase production, what happens? The price spirals down even more. And it accelerates rather than diminishes this toxic situation that our farmers face. That's the challenge. Now, good question, how do we address it? My farmers in Vermont, I suspect, are like your farmers wherever you are. They're small government conservatives. They are so proud of themselves and their families because they're on their own. The only thing that breaks that is they help any other farmer whose barn goes down, is burned, who needs some help. They help one another. They believe in individual responsibility, and they believe in serving their community. That's what they do. They are the ones who've conceived this program. They think it works for them. Our chairman and our ranking member, two men in this Congress I trust as much as I trust anyone else, they've looked it over, they've kicked the tires, they think this works. Now, there are some competing interests. There always are. What's new about that? Some of the producers, the lower the price of milk, the lower they can buy it, the cheaper or the more profits they can make on the sale of their ice cream or whatever their product is. And God love them, we need them as much as we need anyone else. But there's got to be some balance, and there's got to be some stability. What this does, and it's a voluntary program, no farmer has to participate in this unless they want to. And keep in mind, none of our farmers like to get involved in government programs if they can possibly avoid it. So it's a voluntary program, but they get the signal that, hey, prices are collapsing, and they can then decide on a voluntary basis that they're going to start reducing a little bit of their production. And that's going to have a supply and demand kind of effect, gives a signal, and brings the balance back into place. Because the goal here has to be sustainability of American agriculture. We can't have a system where one side really profits while the other side perishes. That's really what it boils down to. We've all got to be in this together. So I thank the chairman and the ranking member for putting together, I think, a very sensible program that has as its goal allowing farmers the option to have some capacity to affect their future, both on the price side and on how much they produce side. So this is a very important provision. The amendment before us would unravel it. It would certainly affect the view that a lot of us have about this ag bill, complicated situation. So I speak in opposition to this amendment. Thank you.
Gentleman's time has expired. For what purposes